All right, everybody. This is the Professor Malik X. This is my first video back in almost about 6 weeks. I'm here with the one and only Prodigal Champ. And this is our TNA IMPACT Wrestling review. What's up, Prodigal?
Hey, how's it going, man? I'll have to introduce you to some of the guys in No DQ. Some of the TNA soldiers. Yep, as Malik has already said, I am the Prodigal Champ, the original revolution of TNA. Now it seems like the momentum for TNA is starting to build, and especially with these new characters like DK, Eli Drake, Mike Bennett, and stuff like that. TNA is starting to catch on to a lot more fan base. So I think that Malik is trying to, go a different direction, promote TNA. WWE is so drab and it's so boring, dude, that we have to go to another direction if we want to eventually cover wrestling in the future, Malik. That's just the way I see it.
Yeah, I agree. That's for sure. TNA wrestling is the future. But and all right, now let's get to the results of this show. And I just finished watching it myself, and it was a good show. EC3, Drew Galloway, Lashley are shown arriving earlier today as they get set for the triple threat tonight. Video package recaps last week's event, and then we cut to the ring where Mike Bennett is raising the X Division title in the air, as of course he won it last week due to Dixie Carter, of course, being sent home for slapping Maria. And then Corgan, I guess basically, I don't know if it was a heel turn or a partial heel turn. Mike Bennett, I guess, kissed up to him and got a title shot and won the X Division title. Of course, he has the right now to exercise option C, as created by Austin Aries, the greatest man that ever lived. And as we're in the ring, says Maria says that she wants to thank Billy Corgan for being a gracious and fair leader in the absence of the evil Dixie Carter. Maria says that Impact is her show tonight, and Bennett says that with Destination X right around the corner, he has a golden ticket to the world title while holding up the X Division title. He says that he will cash in option C, and he will not only be known as the world's greatest X Division wrestler, but also the world's greatest heavyweight champion of the world. Lashley comes out, of course. Lashley says that Lashley is carrying something he wants, and he may be big and bad, but he will never be half the man that Bennett is, which is obviously corny because Lashley is twice his size, and Bennett is not even a quarter of the man that Lashley is. And I'm pretty sure Lashley can chew him up and spit him out, of course. Anyway, Lashley comes to the ring, and he says that Bennett calling out his name isn't a good thing for him to do. Lashley points out their size difference and says that it looks like Bennett is actually half the size of Lashley. Bennett says that Lashley cannot intimidate him, but Lashley says he isn't attempting to do that because when he attempts to intimidate him, he will know. Lashley points to all of the people he has destroyed and dismisses Bennett as just an afterthought, which is a good point. Bennett says to look past the X Division title and to look him in the eyes because he is the miracle. He says that he hopes Lashley, EC3, and Galloway tear each other apart because he doesn't care which one of them he has to face at DX because he is taking that world title. Of course, now from here, the lights go out and the music of EC3 hits. The former world champion comes to the ring and says that as much as he would love to just watch Lashley and Bennett beat the hell out of each other, the thing that matters is the world title. He says that they all want the title, but Lashley is the one that has it. He says that he has been planning his return to glory like the invasion of Normandy, and tonight he gets his title back. Lashley says it will be a fight tonight, and he will make the fans realize that EC3 is not half as tough as he wants them to believe he is. Bennett says it doesn't matter what either of them say because he will take the title from them at Destination X. EC3 says that Bennett got the title in the first place by being a conniving, cheating weasel and using Corgan to bullshit his way into a title shot. He can't even congratulate him on winning that title because he's such a piece of course, that word was censored. I was kind of shocked that he did that, but I'm glad, that's where they went because that's what the other place used to do during the Attitude phase.
Yeah.
So, but of course, Billy Corgan comes out on the stage. He talk. He talks. EC3 talks to him, says, "Businessman to businessman, questioning his integrity." And eventually, that's when Corgan sets up a X Division battle royal to determine who will face Mike Bennett, which of course Mike Bennett doesn't like. And of course, the segment ends where Bennett.
Yeah, I gotta sit there and say something.
Go ahead.
Is that whole point? Whenever he's sitting there and he doesn't like that, fucking Bobby Lashley goes, "Well, if you can't defend that, you can't win this." And then he points at
Yeah,
his championship.
that's for sure. Yeah, and of course he attacks EC3, and of course Lashley joins in. Drew Galloway comes in for the save, but during the save, Galloway kicks EC3 in the face. So
Yeah.
So that first segment, Poston. What are your thoughts?
This is what wrestling should be like. I mean, you look at Bobby Lashley, you look at EC3, you look at Drew Galloway. All three of these guys in this segment, outside of Mike Bennett, ex-WWE guys. The WWE just really, really couldn't get over. They couldn't get any interest in. Whenever we opened this segment up, it's that segment, like I came home and watched it early, kind of like you did. Exactly the same thing with you. You get off of work and you're like tired. You tune into this first segment and you're kind of energized and it captivates you and it draws you in to want to watch the rest of the show. And that's how you start a show out. You don't start a show out with Stephanie or Triple H. Well, today you can buy the network on $9.99 or whatever they fucking do in WWE anymore. I can't watch it. I don't know anybody who can, to be honest with you. All the fucking people who used to be fans of WWE can't watch it. But this segment was so captivating. You finally see what Mike Bennett can do. And Mike Bennett's kind of got this CM Punk kind of air about himself. So he's really, really good on the mic and in these segments to help instigate shit. He's really, really great at instigating, getting the ball rolling. It's believable because you could believe that these guys actually have a problem. And then you bring another great talker in EC3. Bobby Lashley is the most legitimate person in wrestling today. And he's even more legitimate than Brock Lesnar, considering that Brock Lesnar's had his elements. He's part-time in the WWE. Bobby Lashley is that guy that you could put the belt on and it automatically gives that title instant credibility with Lashley. And as much as I like Drew Galloway, Lashley gives that title instant credibility with his fights in Bellator and all that kind of stuff. And then with Drew Galloway coming in, you're setting up this Drew Galloway EC3 type feud that's going to be great as well. It should be interesting at Destination America because I do think that eventually they're going to have to put the title on Mike Bennett, but I'm not exactly sure if they could do it at Destination America. But it'll be interesting to watch and see what goes on.
Oh yeah, and yeah, Mike Bennett, he is awesome. He can talk and he can wrestle. Something they're missing in WWE. You have guys, or maybe a few guys who can talk and wrestle, but of course, they're going to be held back. And when they come to the main roster from NXT, of course, we all see what happens there. Okay, now back from commercial break. Backstage, and this was also a funny segment. EC3 rubbing his chin, John. He's like, yeah, good shot there, buddy. You say it was an accident, but I kind of think it wasn't. Of course, no. Backstage, EC3 and Bennett bicker about what just happened. Galloway says he was trying to help EC3, but Ethan is having none of it, and they end up getting in each other's faces until the wrestlers try to separate them. Allie congratulates Gail Kim on being inducted into the Hall of Fame as she and Sienna come to the ring. Allie mocks Gail and says that Gail has been wrestling for a very long time. She says that the next step for Gail should be retirement. It says that Sienna will put her into forced retirement tonight. Of course, this is the Knockouts Championship, Gail Kim versus Sienna. Of course, Allie, who's like a protege for Maria in Sienna's corner. Gail ducks under Sienna as she went for the lockup and gets Sienna in a side headlock. Gail then connects with an arm drag, but as she went for another one, Sienna blocked it. Gail then rocked Sienna with a forearm smash, followed by a gorgeous spinning head scissors. Gail attempts to whip Sienna into the ropes, but Sienna reverses it and sends Gail into the corner. Gail kicks a charging Sienna in the gut and then clotheslines her for a quick near fall. Gail hits a series of forearms and then attempts a crucifix roll up, but Sienna blocks it and slams Gail hard with a Samoan drop for a near fall of her own. Sienna takes control of the match, beating Gail down in the corner. Sienna argues with the referee while Allie chokes Gail in the ropes. Sienna puts Gail in a straitjacket choke, but Gail fights back to her feet, only for Sienna to back her into the turnbuckles. Sienna lifts Gail to the top, but then eats a forearm from Gail, followed by a blockbuster off the top. Jade runs out, attacks Allie. She attempts a package power driver on the floor, but Marty Bell attacks her from behind. Allie attempts to hit Gail with the knockouts title, but Gail ducks only to turn around into the silencer. Think Marty Brown's pounce finisher from Sienna for the pin. And of course, the winner and still champion is Sienna. Now, Marty Bell, as you know, and Jade were part of the faction known as the Dollhouse. Marty came back maybe about a month ago at a pay-per-view and turned on Jade. So, Prodigal Champ, what are your thoughts on this match? Of course, I thought being a women's match, it was a good match, better than anything that you see elsewhere.
Yeah. With this match right here, first off, I got to sit there and say I absolutely am in love with Allie. Now, you know, my girl used to be Velvet Sky, as you know, but I absolutely love what Allie brings to these knockout matches. You know, she's basically like Sienna comes out. She's basically usually like the talker. Now she's got this like Vicky Guerrero thing going for her, where she's like, "Hey, Gil Kim, congratulations, yada yada yada," while she's speaking. But where she really sells everything is whenever she's on the side, and whenever, you know, an opponent gets advantage, she's over there yelling her ass off. And to me, the shit is so fucking hilarious that she brings that new element in. Sienna is definitely you could tell she is now the Awesome Kong of that division, the China of that division. She's the one that like Bobby Lashley, she brings legitimacy to the Knockouts champion, which you need for you to get over another female wrestler later on, whether it be you know, just one of the new wrestlers, female wrestlers, whether it be a Raquel or somebody later on that goes for that title. Which I don't know if you know this or not, but Raquel for the bromance, she's actually Eddie Guerrero's daughter, man, and I just found that out.
Wow, cool. Okay. Well, Eddie Guerrero had good genes. Yeah, she is nice looking. I'll give him that. Okay, cool. Okay. Well, okay. Moving on. Backstage, Matt Hardy is shown arriving in a wheelchair with Reby. Matt says that Jeff confined him to that chair, but he says he will not stop coming until he gets what he wants. This will not be over. Of course, after commercial break, Drew Galloway approaches Bennett backstage, and these two have a really good exchange. It says that Bennett just can't help himself by running his mouth and ruining everything. Bennett says that he could beat every X Division wrestler if they were lined up for him, and he says he can beat Galloway too. Galloway warns Bennett not to take the X Division guys lightly and says that if Bennett ever gets a shot at the world title, he will be facing him, not Lashley. Bennett reminds Galloway that he has beat him before, but Drew says if it wasn't for his witch of a wife, he should have said his bitch of a wife, he never would have. And now we come to my favorite part of the show, I think, was Eli Drake. He's in the ring for another Fact of Life. This guy is getting more and more over the top each week, and that's true too. He was actually hiding behind the Fact of Life table while introducing himself. tells the fans to do a dummy yeah chant with him, but when they start, he tells them to shut up because he was talking to himself, not them. Drake says that he took a break.
Dummy. That's you dummies. Yeah, that was
Oh,
cold.
Drake says that he took a break from defending his title all over the world to sit down for a dinner with his family and friends. Talks about how awesome his father's mashed potatoes are, and says that Drake's do two things in life: make great mashed potatoes and kick ass. Drake introduces his guest tonight, which is the cowboy James Storm. Sorry about your damn luck. James Storm, who he says is jealous of Drake. Drake says that he is happy that Storm decided to walk it off instead of driving his stupid cooler to the ring. Drake says that Storm has been in TNA since day one, and he was the one pretty much every title in TNA. Yeah, he's won pretty much every title in TNA. But he has been going through a drought recently. He asked if Storm is jealous seeing a guy like Drake winning the King of the Mountain title. Storm says he has been watching Drake and calls him Eli Dork, which causes an Eli Dork chant to start. Drake gets pissed and starts calling all of the fans dummy, yeah, and says that he would like to make Drake's dummy button into a drinking game. Says that every time Drake hits that button, they should take a drink. Drake pulls out a jug of water and agrees. Drake says he is the greatest television host ever, and he is also the King of the Mountain champion, and asks Storm where his title is. Storm says that he is the guy that has paved the way for punks like Drake to come to TNA. He says that he has busted his ass for the fans and the company, and that is his title. Drake makes fun of Storm for being a redneck and says he has a beer belly. He says that Storm couldn't even win the Knighthouse title and says he better watch his tongue when he's standing in front of Drake. Storm says they should change the drinking game up, and every time Drake hits the dummy button, he is going to slap the piss out of him. Storm and the fans taunt Drake to hit the button, but he refuses and says that Storm can't come on his show and call the shots. He tells Storm to walk away because no one wants to see him anymore, and Storm agrees, but says their paths will cross one day and he will beat Drake's ass. Drake throws Storm's beer out of the ring, which pisses Storm off and causes him to hit Drake with a last call kick. Once again, this segment was funny, start to finish, top to bottom. It wasn't, like I said, a long, drawn-out, pointless skit like somebody else does all the time. This is what you call a segment with a promo leading into a sort of fight. But like I said, it was a one punch, one kick. He hit Drake. Drake hit the mat. So, Prodigal, your thoughts?
Yeah, this was a great segment, and this is exactly what I've been telling all the guys who just hate WWE so much. But if you hate it, just don't watch it. Give TNA a chance. Or if you do hate WWE, then give TNA a chance anyways. It doesn't come on the same night. You're not sacrificing anything. But as I said before, to me, Eli Drake is this generation's version of The Rock. That's exactly what Eli Drake is. And now you have a guy in James Storm that was kind of like the answer cross between Shawn Michaels and Stone Cold for TNA, facing this guy and getting into a confrontation with him on his show. I kind of feel like this is going to end up escalating later on. Maybe later on you're going to have some pretty decent matches because this is exactly what TNA is doing. You knew that eventually that there is going to be EC3 versus Bobby Lashley for the title. That's going to happen. They already set the template for that match. You're setting up storylines here later on to build feuds later on. And this segment right here, anything with Eli Drake, it's just so easy to watch. And this is what's the difference between TNA and WWE is that you get your first segment up, that pulls in interest. You have all these other little segments in between that are not completely horrible. You know what I'm saying? They're watchable. You get your matches. You get a great match with Gail Kim, who's probably the best female wrestler in wrestling today, And Sienna, probably the most dominating female wrestler right now on any of the brands today. And you go into another segment like this right here with Eli Drake and his dummy button and James Storm. And James Storm, like he said, I don't need a button to sit there and say sorry about your damn luck. And you have James Storm and just fucking Eli Drake killing it in the segment, just like you used to back in the days. You used to go back into, good segment, good match. It could even and sometimes these segments can help set up. So you can put a great segment at the beginning, and if the match falls flat, then you can have another good segment after that match, and it makes you feel, that match wasn't as great as I thought it would. But with TNA, what you're getting is you're getting good segments, good match, good segment now, and it's setting up for other stuff later on. So for people to sit there and say, well, TNA doesn't have anybody on their roster. Well, nothing personal, but WWE doesn't have anybody on their roster worth watching, and everybody's leaving the product not because of TNA. Everybody's leaving the product for WWE. This is what's killing the wrestling product right now. TNA is putting on a good show, but nobody's going to watch it because people still connect wrestling with WWE. So whenever they're putting on shitty performances and putting on shitty shows, nobody's going to come to watch Impact Wrestling. And that's the bad thing. And that's what's killing the business, man. And TNA is doing what they can to put on great shows right now. And of course, the wrestling fans are like, we're not going to give it a chance because it sucked back when, and yada, 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 and I'll never give it a chance. Although WWE's sucked repetitively for at least 4 or 5 years, and y'all watch that shit religiously like a bunch of fucking Stockholm Syndrome bitches. And I just don't understand it. But this was another great segment right here. Eli Drake should definitely. It makes you wonder why half these people ain't on the roster. But of course, like I said, EC3 was on the roster of WWE's roster. Bobby Roode's just going back. This is why I don't understand why people have such a problem with Dixie. Is that you can say what the hell you want to about Dixie. Did she make some bad decisions? Did she bring Vincent Russo in to write a few impacts? Did you bring Eric Bischoff in? Was there some politics going on backstage? Yeah, she made some questionable decisions, but you cannot negate the fact that guys like Austin Aries, AJ Styles, even Christian Cage have come through that company and made a name for themselves to go back to the WWE on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and see, AJ Styles and Austin Aries were actually homegrown talents. AJ Styles was there from day one as well as Storm. So see, and look at this, TNA on their website, Shop TNA, they're selling DVD volumes called the Asylum Years, which I might go and buy because everybody's on them. This is before they got a TV deal, and now some of their best stuff. That Dusty Rhodes, X-Pac, AJ Styles. And they're selling, I think, AJ Styles 2-disc or 3-disc set of AJ Styles, his best stuff from TNA. So, see, that's going to make money.
CM Punk, don't forget that. CM Punk's going to be on that, too.
Yeah, CM Punk was in the Asylum Years, yeah, because he had blonde hair. I saw that, yeah. So, see, that stuff is going to make some good revenue for TNA. Because, see, I might buy that and see those years are probably worth watching better than the show past few months. Like I said, I'm going to go back and watch some more stuff. But yes, like I said, Eli Drake, that dummy, yeah, that is hilarious. Because I'd rather watch that. I'd rather watch that segment than watch a John Cena segment any day. I mean,
I'd rather watch that than fucking WrestleMania. From what I hear about WrestleMania, I still haven't even watched that.
Yeah, because see, him and Storm, like you said, they killed that segment top to bottom. That was just hilarious. They both had good chemistry, a good heat between them, and you can tell, like I said, it looks believable. See, that's the thing. See, the other place isn't believable anymore. It's just pointless. And half the shit they do doesn't make sense. There's no build up. There's just they just throw it out there in your face, and you got to supposed to process it. And you're like, what the hell is this? I mean, But anyway, okay. Backstage, Jeff Hardy says he assumed Matt would show up tonight, and they will find the solution that Matt wants to this whole thing. Commercial break, of course. Earlier tonight, Bram is shown being attacked by Decay during an explosion taping. And after I saw this, I'm thinking Decay wants Bram to join. I saw a little segment from Explosion where Rosemary's all in his face, and you see her wagging her tongue a little bit like she's going to kiss him, but it's all I guess like a demon possession type thing. Then when they come back, he's backstage sitting down. She's in his face again. And I'm thinking, you know what? Let's go ahead and punch this bitch in the face and just walk away, And so she said he doesn't have a choice in the matter. So, what the K wants, the K eventually gets. It's like you can join us or, we'll coerce you. Okay, yeah. And after that, also Prodigal, what are your thoughts on Decay going after Bram?
Now, I mean, like, Bram started off as a heel, and he started off as a psychotic son of a bitch. So, if Bram were to join Decay, it would be okay because his face run hasn't been that long, and Bram does get that interest. You know what I'm saying? Because he is a bigger, more believable in-ring guy. You know what I'm saying? And with Bram, if he were to join Decay, then that's going to help that stable out a lot more because Decay right now is one of the best monster stables. Well, it's the best monster stable because they haven't been buried like the fucking Wyatts have. This is exactly why we don't like the fucking WWE, is that WWE will have something good, hand it to WWE, and WWE manages to turn that to shit. So, I mean, Vince needs to go to fucking Hollywood, get into fucking doing something else other than fucking with the wrestling product. Because at the end of the fucking day, he doesn't know what he's doing. It's this, as far as wrestling related shit, Vince has no idea what the fuck he's doing. And it's good that TNA is protecting because they need to protect Decay as that believable force until they can find some guys to come up and use them guys to build up. That's why you have these stables for it, is not only to protect certain guys like Abyss, like a Crazy Steve, like a Rosemary. It's also to help build up other talent. It's got to be that force for later on for somebody to go up against. That way, it is, that all-powerful force that seems to be unstoppable. They take whatever they want, and eventually you use somebody to go against Decay and whatnot. And then that's how you get other people over. And that's what you're supposed to do with these stables. Not like fucking they did with damn the Wyatts and Daniel Bryan and all that shit. That's not what they're made for. And they're just cheap gimmicks at that point. If you're not going to use them for anything, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, but yeah, Decay is. I mean, I like Decay, but I have to admit, when I look at them, and think about them, they are kind of creepy. That's what's. They kind of remind me of a Rob Zombie of a Rob Zombie movie. If you were to put them in a Rob Zombie movie, they, all three of them would get Oscars.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the element that they're supposed to bring.
Yeah, that's how creepy they are, especially Rosemary. But then again, as creepy as Rosemary is, it's like this: she's creepy, but yet you're still aroused. But anyway,
yeah, I'd still bang her for sure.
Oh, me too. Yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure she's probably really good in the sack. Vaginally and orally too.
Yeah, she just puts that off, don't she? She gives you that vibe of, boy, she can make your toes curl back, man. Even though she is kind of creepy in that shit. Yeah, I forgot. And I see you didn't see last week's TNA. It was funny because they had a segment with fucking Eli Drake last week.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that. I watched that. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, that was good too.
Eli Drake's like, oh, you could be the hottest chick in the world under that makeup.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, I kind of thought he was insulting her a little bit because I figured they might jump him, and they were standing in the ring, and he kept hitting the dummy button, and I'm starting to think, okay, I wonder if they're thinking that's getting a little annoying. I was wondering if this was somebody was going, but They were fighting with the Bromans and whoever else was out there too. Yeah. Now that show I saw, that was like I said. Anytime you have Eli Drake, or any guest on Eli Drake, he gets elevated that much more. Anybody can have chemistry with Eli Drake because Eli Drake is just that damn good. Okay, Matt Hardy comes to the ring being wheeled out in a wheelchair by Reby. Footage of Jeff Hardy's wild dive off the cage last week is shown. Reby tries to help Matt into the ring, but Matt says his injuries won't let him do it. He wants Reby to wheel Matt around the ringside so he can see the despicable creatures and force them to see what their hero Jeff did to him. Matt says he is the one that is responsible for all of Jeff's success and he detests all of his creatures. Matt talks about being broke and calling Jeff a monster. Matt says he needs Jeff to come out and look at him in the eyes so he can tell Jeff what he needs. So back from commercial, Jeff comes out to the ring, asks Matt what he wants. Basically, Matt wants one last match in Cameron, North Carolina. And of course, Reby grabs the mic. And of course, Reby on the mic is very terrible. But Jeff kind of saves it, saying, gets on the mic, says, you need to get on your broom and fly out of here, which was kind of funny. And while he's jawing with Reby, Matt gets out of his chair from behind, jumps in, beats him up, throws him into the steps, gets him in the ring, and tells him that's the match he wants in the stipulation, and then his music plays. Now, personally, I don't know what they did or whose idea was it to make Matt to this character. It's kind of really, really odd. Like I said, the hair, it kind of reminds me of Mozart. That's what some people are saying.
Yeah.
I'm kind of wondering what made him go this route. Now, it seems to be getting over a little bit because he seems like he's more of a star or he's more comfortable than he ever was, somewhere else. So, like, Prodigal, your thoughts on that segment?
Brother Nero. I mean, I gotta admit, I like the gimmick, dude. I do. I'm just not a big fan because he was the big money Matt, which, maybe that was running a little bit dry, but he was killing that as Big Money Matt. And to me, I'm just not a big fan of doing all these character changes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Nothing
that's what I'm
against you,
saying.
dude.
Yeah,
Nothing against you, Mick Foley. Nothing against you, Mankind. Um, it's just that,
dude, love.
yeah, I'm not like stay a character and then be that character and then be that same character when you turn heel, be the same character, just switch your position. You know what I'm saying? Um, with this Matt Hardy, uh, it's definitely he's definitely getting a buzz behind it, man. People like it. What can you say? Even the WWE mark guys will talk about Matt Hardy and stuff. I mean, it's getting out there, and I'm glad because he's done a hell of a job for the past few weeks. Now, in the ring, Matt Hardy cannot go. His matches don't look right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
He needs to develop more big boy moves, is what I like to say, because he's not going to be able to do that party brand wrestling, unfortunately. I like the side effect that he does, but he needs to develop more of a ground and pound type, you know, style. Maybe get into shape a little bit more and put on big boy performances inside the ring. But as far as his character goes, with his brother Nero and stuff like that, I mean, he's doing a hell of a job. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep killing it. That's just like I said. In the ring, he's gonna have to do something to put himself in position to be more believable in the ring. If you're gonna go that route, he's just got to. You know what I'm saying? Because that's where you know it's good to have these characters and stuff to help entertain the fans. Don't get me wrong, but you're gonna have to perform in the ring eventually, and he's gonna have to put in. You're gonna have to get like into the Batista type moves, man, because that's you put on some weight, um, so you're gonna have to hit that gym. You're gonna have to, you know, shed some lbs, and then you're gonna have to change your move set, and that's what Matt needs to do. And I think Matt will be all right. I really do.
oh yeah. And the segment ended when Ray got the chair for Matt, put Jeff Hardy's head in the fold up chair, and did a twist of fate on it. And that's where that segment ended. So I'm pretty sure even if Jeff was hurt a little bit, I'm pretty sure he'll be back for the match next week. Now, commercial break. Now we come to another good segment, the TNA X Division number one contenders battle royal. Bodies go flying all around the ring as the match starts. Eddie Edwards tosses Spud over the top right off the bat to be eliminated first, and then the Helms Dynasty starts double teaming Mandrews. Mandrews hits a series of kicks to them, and then a beautiful Rey Mysterio Jr. like wheelbarrow bulldog. Lee tosses Mandrews over the top, but he lands on the apron and hits Lee with a leaping enziguri. Of course, Mike Bennett and Maria are on commentary for this one too. He then dives over the top rope of every right into a Superman forearm from Lee. Lee and Everett toss Mandrews over the top to eliminate him, only to walk into a double Rana from Edwards. Lee comes back with a nasty high knee to Edwards, and then Zima starts shining out both of them. He hits a DDT neckbreaker combo on the Dynasty and then goes for a springboard move, but the Dynasty shoves him over the top to eliminate him. Sutter clotheslines everyone and starts throwing elbows. Sutter hits a gorgeous power slam on Lee and then tries to eliminate Lee. Eddie and Everett brawl with each other on the apron, exchanging strikes. Bennett grabs Eddie's leg, and then Lee comes flying out of nowhere with a flying knee, sending Eddie to the floor to eliminate him. Everett hits a springboard missile drop kick on Sutter, and then they both go for a double clothesline, but Sutter ducks and then clotheslines Everett over the top. Everett lands on the apron and sets up for a springboard move, but Sutter ducked a charging Lee at the same time, causing Lee to go crashing into Everett, sending Everett to the floor. Sutter clotheslines Lee over the top to win the match. Winner, new number one contender, Braxton Sutter. I thought this was a good match. Of course, X Division guys, always awesome. Of course, on commentary, Bennett went after Edwards because he didn't want to face him anymore, and that's what the Pope was saying on commentary along with Josh Matthews. Prodigal, your thoughts on this one?
Anything with the X Division, and you didn't go through. You went through with Braxton Sutter is a guy that they're trying to build. He's a new guy. I don't think that he may be in contention for the X Division champion. I don't know if how they're going to set that up, if they're going to have him win it later on, maybe by a fluke or something like that later on. But Mike Bennett right now has been, he's going to be one of them ones that you want to position in a right way. So for you're going to have to protect him somehow, even if you do get the title onto somebody else. You still got to protect Mike Bennett. Trevor Lee, fucking Eddie Edwards, these guys, DJZ, Adam Everett, these guys can really, really go in the ring, and they're like your guys that are just like your Daniel Bryans used to be, your CM Punks used to be. There's just going to be nonstop moves in an X Division match. I thought the segment was pretty good. You see, because I hear a lot of people say, well, Trevor Lee can't talk on the mic, and Adam Everett, who's that? Nobody cares. Well, see, that's why they bring in a guy like Sean Helms to be the manager. See, they used to have these things called managers back in the day. And if a guy that you wanted to build up, see what he can do in the ring, if he really wasn't a good talker, they would bring in Jim Cornette and these other managers, William Moody, Paul Bearer, Percy Pringle, fucking Jimmy Hart. They were managers, and that's what their job was, to protect the talent. And then you have the Hurricane there, and he's totally legitimate. This is why TNA is better, because we know the Hurricane can talk, and the Hurricane is being he's being built the way the Hurricane should have already been built. So, I mean, I thought like I said, there yet again, you're going from one great match to another great match to all these awesome little segments in between. And the show's just, rolling along, and you're like, well, I'll go ahead and watch another 5 minutes, and then 5 minutes later, you're almost through with the fucking show. Next thing you know, you're already at the end of it.
That's true. And you forgot one great manager legend, the one, the only. Shout out to the Weasel, Bobby the Brain Heenan. Okay,
Oh,
now.
hang on real quick.
Okay. All right. After Braxton Sutter won the match, and he was, of course, he was jumped by Shane Helms' team and laid out. Then, of course, Mike Bennett told the referee to ring the bell. Basically, he had an easy match. Bennett demands that the referee start the match right now, and Bennett taunts Braxton for a minute before Sutter shocked him with an inside cradle. 1-2. Note, Bennett kicks out and immediately hits the MIP for the pin. Once again, short, fast, and sweet was that, and that was that.
And yeah, that's how you protect Mike Bennett, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Mike Bennett can talk, and eventually, it's going to be interesting to see what maybe a guy like Mike Bennett can do in a segment with Eli Drake, because eventually that's going to have to come. Maybe give Mike Bennett that King of the Mountain push, because like I said, right now you can't put the title on him. It's a little too quick to put the title on him. But there yet again, Mike Bennett is, like I said, he's a phenomenal talker. You don't bury Braxton Sutter because he just won basically a battle royal to get an X Division shot. At the same time, you don't kill Mike Bennett's push that you're giving him, because he got jumped from behind, and he's going to, of course, take advantage of the situation. And that's how you keep from burying talent. It's that easy.
Yeah, that's true. And now we go to another feud that's been going on for some time. Al Snow's Tribunal versus Baba Holly, Shira, Grado, and a surprise face turn, I guess. I missed this in the past few weeks. Tyrus. Snow and the Tribunal attacked Shira and Grado before Grado could announce their partner. Of course, before the commercial break, you hear Grado and Shira talking about, who the partner is. And, Shira's asking about the money that they paid him, because he doesn't want to be cheated. Anyway, Snow and the Tribunal attacked Shira and Grado before Grado could announce their partner. Tyrus then hits.
Oh man! And I want to go ahead and go in there and give a little bit of elaboration on that segment. It was so funny because Grado says, "Oh, I'll pick up the check next time," and then you have Mahali Shira. You'll say that 6 next time ago. She was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Just how they present themselves and do their characters, dude, is fucking amazing.
I kind of wonder about those two sometimes when I look at them talk. That's another story. Anyway, Tyrus hits the ring and immediately sends the Tribunal out of the ring. Tyrus then chases Snow to the floor into a clothesline from Baraka. Tyrus shrugs the clothesline off and tosses Baraka into the ring, where a waiting Shira scoop slams him. Grado tags into the match, and the two whip Baraka into the ropes and connect with a double clothesline, followed by a double elbow drop. Dax tags into the match and runs into a series of jabs and an atomic elbow from Grado, a la Dusty Rhodes. That whole thing routine basically was a Dusty Rhodes imitation. Of course, no one can do it like the real American Dream, so the guys need to stop. I mean, no disrespect to them, but they don't need to imitate Dusty Rhodes. Snow knees Grado from behind, and Grado is floored with a clothesline from Dax. Snow tags into the match and puts the boots to Grado before connecting with a snap suplex. Baraka tags back in and hits a short arm clothesline on Grado for a near fall. Dax tags in and immediately hits a short arm clothesline off his own before tagging Baraka back in. Grado ducks another clothesline and makes the hot tag to Tyrus. Tyrus lays everyone out and caps it off with a T-bone suplex on Baraka and another one for Dax. Tyrus hits a double splash on the Tribunal in the corner. Snow attacks Tyrus from behind, but Tyrus shrugs it off and beats him down in the corner. Baraka attacks Tyrus from behind, only to eat front slam for the pin. Prodigal, are your thoughts on, I guess, the Tyrus face turn? And of course, he was the biggest guy in the match, and basically it was a squash match. And what I found amazing, real quick, Al Snow kept blowing the whistle all the way through the match, even when he was fighting and when he was getting beat down. That's amazing. I'm surprised.
Yeah,
I'm surprised he didn't swallow that whistle and choke on it.
yeah. I like what Al Snow has been doing. I like what he's been doing. He came out against the wrestling fans, said he's trying to protect the business. I mean, the shit that Al Snow has been doing is just basically sentimenting the way I felt about the wrestling fan base, especially in the other company, mostly. Then, you know, then I have in a while. It's like they just are out to bury people. And, talent's not getting built right. He's absolutely 100% right. You could see with the Daniel Bryan thing, he wasn't really necessarily built right. And it wasn't organic. His getting over wasn't organic, and it killed a lot of shit. Um, Coming into this match, Tyrus to me is really really great. He's one of those guys that's believable, not only in the ring but on the mic. I'm glad that they're doing this kind of face turn. I'm glad he got to pick up a win because they've been trying to protect Tyrus or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Like putting him in a ladder match, have him try to climb the ladder. The ladders keep breaking and stuff like that. They're trying not to bury him. They were trying not to bury him, but he's most definitely a believable guy. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
It was it's good for them because, like I said, whenever he gets on that mic and he gets into his character, whenever he gets into the Tyrus character, that's the way that he should have been booked in the WWE. And I'm glad he's finding a little bit of success here in TNA. I hope they do end up pushing him a little bit because I think he deserves a push. You know what I'm saying? And maybe giving him a King of the Mountain title run, or eventually maybe even a World Championship title run because he was screwed over in the WWE. I mean, is he going to be like your Is he going to be one of those wrestlers like you know, CM Punk or fucking one of those guys that are just high flyers and shit? No, he's not that kind of wrestler, but he is believable. He can do the power moves. He looks believable. He could be an imposing heel. You can give him a monster heel run, and you can use him to get over talent. And that's the difference between, say, pushing a guy like Brodus Clay or Tyrus. It's the difference between pushing somebody like him and pushing a guy like Daniel Bryan is that at that stage of his career, Daniel Bryan wasn't going to be able to get anybody over. And that was my whole thing. Is I don't mind that giving the fans that moment for him to have the championship, but build it up right and then put the title on him. Not just put the title on him and we're just mad because he's not over or he's not getting this or he's getting screwed all the time. He was never getting screwed. You needed somebody that would be able to put somebody over. Tyrus is one of those guys later on that you can give the title to for a little while, for a month, maybe 2 months, to help get over another superstar because he's believable. You know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of glad for this right here. Mahale Shira, he's another one of those guys that they could build up for the future. We'll see how he develops on the mic, but the guy's got charisma. We know he's got charisma, and we'll see how his career progresses. And Guido is kind of like the Daniel Bryan of the group, I guess, a little bit. You know, the underdog. That's exactly what his character is. So you have a physical dominant guy like Mahale Shira with Guido, and it's just putting those two guys that are opposite ends of the spectrums together. And it's been pretty good. Al Snow's been really keeping this feud going and keeping the interest in it for the past few weeks. So yeah, I like what they're doing.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, and Tyrus, like I say, he big dude, and like I say, yeah, WWE, the whole Funkasaurus, everybody call our mama. You can tell that was pure Saturday morning cartoonish Walt Disney's a type of dumb shit. And then you had him with two cheerleaders. Of course, one's now released. Other one is basically nowhere to be found. I think last heard she was injured or she's filming something for Total Divas, but who cares? Team Bad is all but extinct now. So anyway, but that's what Team Bad was, bad.
It should be called Team Terrible. Terrible.
Yeah.
For Charles Barkley says that what I just seen today was terrible.
Yep. But after commercial break, backstage, your boy Bennett mockingly says he just had the hardest match in his life, but he is still the X Division champ. Bennett says that next week, right when Impact starts, he is calling Billy Corgan to the ring and cashing in option C. And now we come to the main event, the triple threat match between the Destroyer Lashley versus Ethan Carter III versus the Chosen One Drew Galloway. And this was also a good match from start to finish. And you see EC3 and Galloway start shoving each other as the match starts, but then they realize Lashley is just chilling on the outside watching them. They both go after Lashley and chase him into the ring. Galloway hits a big boot on Lashley, followed by a clothesline from EC3. EC3 and Galloway argue over who gets to stomp on Lashley, and then EC3 hits a stinger splash on Lashley, followed by a forearm smash from Galloway. Galloway hits a flying clothesline off the top on Lashley, and then EC3 hits a STO. Galloway pulls EC3 off of the cover, and more bickering always Lashley to come back and lay into EC3 with a series of strikes. Galloway just watches Lashley destroys EC3 in the corner with a series of shoulder blocks. Lashley offers to whip Galloway into a spot on EC3, but Galloway headbutts Lashley. Galloway charges Lashley in the corner, but Lashley moves and Galloway slams into the ring post and falls to the floor. Lashley counters a charging EC3 with a spinning neckbreaker for a near fall. Lashley then immediately goes for the arm triangle, only for EC3 to quickly get to the ropes. EC3 kicks a charging Lashley and then dives off the top with a crossbody, but Lashley catches him in midair. Galloway runs in and German suplexes Lashley as Lashley fallaway slams EC3 at the same time. Galloway lights Lashley up for some flare chops. And then Lashley leapfrogs a charging Galloway and hits a Dominator 1-2. No, Galloway kicks out. Galloway floats over a charging Lashley and then catches him with a belly-to-belly overhead suplex. Galloway and EC3 hit a double delayed vertical suplex on Lashley, and then EC3 hits a spinning clothesline, sending Lashley to the floor. Galloway hits a crazy tope con gyro through the turnbuckles onto Lashley on the floor. EC3 dives off the top with a plancha onto Lashley on the floor as well. Galloway actually moved out of the way at the last minute, or EC3 would have crashed into both of them. Galloway dares EC3 to get in the ring, which the former champ obliges. They exchange some stiff strikes to the point where Galloway actually breaks the skin of EC3. Yeah, there was some blood on the chest.
Yeah, there was some blood on that chest, man. It was pretty fucking intense there for a second.
And see, that's another thing. That's another thing I liked about the old days. You actually saw some battle scars. That was something else. Galloway catches a charging EC3 with a big boot and then goes for the Claymore, only for EC3 to catch him with a Enziguri out of nowhere. Galloway comes back with a series of sickening chops, and then he hits the ropes only to run into a flapjack from EC3. EC3 attempts to 1%er, but Galloway counters into the future shock 1-2. No, Lashley breaks it up and hits a nasty spine buster on Galloway. 1-2. No, Galloway kicks out. Lashley hits the delayed vertical suplex on EC3 and then goes for the spear, but EC3 catches him in midair with a knee. EC3 hits the TK3 and then goes for the 1%er, only to eat a Claymore from Galloway. Lashley spears Galloway. Lashley hits the spear on EC3, gets the pin. Great match, awesome match from start to finish. And this is actually Bobby Lashley's second title run. I'm glad to see TNA is letting an African American wrestler hold the belt. and be the face of the company and be the champion. But Prodigal, your thoughts on the main event?
I'm like you with Bobby Lashley, man. I was really really happy when they let him have it at uh at the Slammiversary. It shows you that you know, TNA is not afraid to cross those barriers that WWE has always been afraid to cross. Now with this match right here, it was pretty intense there for a while, especially with Drew Galloway and EC3. So whenever you see if you were to see the match, EC3's fucking chest is beat red. You understand?
He's bleeding. He's
Yeah, he got busted open.
Yeah.
But I mean, his chest was like after that, his chest was like fucking beat red. You know what I'm saying? So those laughs were real, and like a true, Bobby Lashley just picked up the pieces after that, and that's what we want to see. He's that champion. He is probably, like I said, first off, Bobby Lashley, whenever he first came back, and some of his promos, I was like holding my druthers whenever he grabbed the mic. But with the opening segment at the beginning, the guy can talk. He has that confidence to talk on the mic. He's definitely the guy right now that deserves that title. And, I like EC3, and EC3 is another worthy candidate. You have worthy candidates for that title, more than just one. They're not investing into one person that everybody's going to boo. And then, like I said, with like Dean Ambrose, and I like Dean Ambrose, don't get me wrong. He's kind of in the ring, and he is meh in the ring, and they just can't get anybody over. They can't develop the talent like TNA develops the talent. They all work together. They put on a good show. These guys know how to entertain. And if you like wrestling and you like to be entertained, TNA right now is the only one to watch right now for some entertainment. And yeah, Bobby Lashley can be the title holder. He can be the champion. Are you going to tell me that if Big E Langston gets in it gets in a match with Roman Reigns, do you think that Big E Langston's going to walk out with the fucking title? Hell no. We've already been waiting too long.
The only reason The Rock gets the belt because he's basically a Samoan, and he has a long family history lineage with the company. Of course, going back to the Usos, the Alpha and Sika, but none of them never really won titles. The Rock, I guess, just had that it factor and that face, so that's why somebody somewhere said, okay, let's make him champion. But yeah, I'm glad to see it. I'm glad to
I
see
want to let everybody know real quick, Malik, that whenever I do these wrestling talks or wrestling discussions and TNA reviews, I'll be doing them on Malik's X channel. So y'all go ahead and sub to Malik X, because this is probably where I'm going to be talking about a majority of my my wrestling opinions and stuff.
Yeah, and also a sub to the Prodigal Champ as well. Want to say shout out to Bearstown when she was here, because I don't know if he's up, but maybe he could have come on too. It could have been three of us. But anyway, a shout out to Bearstown, and also a shout out to all the TNA Revolution soldiers. Let's promote TNA wrestling. Let's bring it to the glory it deserves to be. Oh yeah, also right here next week, final battle: Jeff Hardy versus Matt Hardy. TNA World Title: Lashley versus Mike Bennett, which I think should be a squash match. So I think Bobby Lashley is going to squash him. I mean, I don't know. What are your thoughts, Prodigal?
They'll probably have to do something to make some interest. I don't think it's going to be a squash match. I don't see TNA doing a lot of squash matches. But they can do some other stuff to make Mike Bennett, seem like he might have a chance, because you don't want to squash anybody, especially Mike Bennett. You don't want to squash him right now. But he has Maria by his side and whatnot. that could help him a little bit. But I think that Bobby Lashley walks out with the title, dude.
Of course,
No
yeah.
other.
Well, yeah, of course, yeah. Lashley's going to have the belt for a little while now. I think for Lashley to lose the belt, they're going to have to find him or hire a worthy opponent, somebody who matches him in size and strength, and it has to be unbelievable. I don't think they're going to let one of the smaller guys win. If they do, that's cool. But of course, you never know. TNA may surprise us. If Mike Bennett cheats hard enough, he may win the belt anyway.
Yeah, I maybe an EC3. That would be who I would probably put because he's already a strong candidate. They've built a lot into him, so you could see maybe perhaps an EC3 getting the title. But like I said, right now, Mike Bennett's just fresh coming into the company. Will he end up being that guy? Yeah, he will. But he still needs to get the interest into him. He still needs to be, like your Austin Aries or your Drew Galloway got a pretty quick run, but whenever Drew Galloway came in, he wasn't just handed these opportunities. It's not, I don't know if they're gonna, maybe Brodus Clay would be another good one to come in and put up against him to take him out right now. But right now he's gonna hold that title for a little while, anyways.
Actually, you hit the nail on the head. Yep. You know what? Tyrus probably is going to be the one. They probably, since Tyrus turned face, he might be the one to be set up to feud with Bobby Lashley. That might be some pretty good matches because Tyrus is probably the only guy in the company other than Abyss. Of course, Abyss is part of the Decay, and he's basically also another heel. But yeah, two guys could go against Lashley, Abyss, or more than likely Tyrus, because Tyrus is probably due for a title run eventually.
Yeah, I would like to see that. Right now, since he has been doing so much stuff with Rockstar Spud, and he has been set up to lose a few matches, especially like his match with Drew Galloway, it's going to be a while before he can work back up to that stage. But like I said, now with his face turn, pick him up some wins and whatnot. Let Tyrus build, get the mic, be able to talk on the mic, let him do what Tyrus can do. Then yeah, that would work out pretty good. And you can go from monster heel to monster heel. You still have EC3 that could win it. Like I said, Tyrus could come back, feud with EC3. That would be interesting too. So we'll see how it goes. How are they going to do the story?
Yep, that's true. Well, I guess we're going to wrap this up. Prodigal, any final thoughts?
Yeah, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and try to put the link to this video because unfortunately my laptop's down. I'm going to put this link. So shout out to like Jose Perez, Vinny Carter IV, the TNA General, TNA soldiers out there. I'm going to go ahead and put the link up to this in No DQ. Y'all go ahead and subscribe to Malik. This is where I'm going to be doing my wrestling talk from now on. Particularly if Malik does more TNA stuff, I'll jump on those shows. Not so much WWE because I don't really have an opinion on it because I don't watch it anymore. So it's kind of hard for me to have an opinion on something that I don't watch. But I do watch TNA, so I'll be on all of Malik's TNA shows.
Cool. I want to send some shout outs too. There's so many people I like to shout out. Send a shout out to WJ. Definitely send a shout out to Dark Horse TV. Keep your head up, buddy. We're all praying for you. A shout out to the WWNWS network. That's Leon Calaveri, Cody Brainerd, Scott Casey Gale. Shout out to the Bringer of Rain. Shout out to my boy, the Raging Stage Band. Shout out to the PW Hustle. My boys Billy Ray Valentine, A-Track Brown, the Professor. Want to hit y'all up soon. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna put the link of a Prodigal's channel also in.
You don't have to do that, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I appreciate the thought, anyways.
Okay, but anyway, like I said, Yeah, this has been the Professor Malik and the Prodigal Champ on the TNA Impact Wrestling Review, and more to come. Y'all have a good 4th of July weekend and be safe. And to somebody on who doesn't hang out, also try to be sober. Peace.